What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. It's another reality recap with Absolutely April. I'm your girl, April. For all of my subscribers, welcome back. It's another recap. For those who are not subscribed, come on, join the tribe, get subscribed. I review reality shows, mainly Ready to Love, like we're doing today, Married at First Sight, and Married to Medicine. I'm going to do some more. I'm thinking about doing Grey's Anatomy. I might, hop in, every few episodes to do like House of the Dragon, just how I'm feeling and where it's going. Nothing too serious. But yeah, it's fun here. Come on, join the tribe and subscribe. Now, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And share my video. Put the notification button so you can be notified of all my uploads. So yeah, let's get on to the video. Again, we're doing Ready to Love. This is episode, but I believe it's 5. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on this episode. I would rate this episode. I would say maybe a 8 because it's a lot of drama that happened on this episode, and it's a lot of thoughts that I have. And I may be an unpopular opinion, but comment down below if you agree or disagree with me. It's all good. It's all love. So yeah, this was an interesting Ready to Love. It was a lot of moving parts going on, and like I said, I got some thoughts. So let's just jump into it. So it starts back where Tommy is still talking to the bottom 3, which is Zoe, LJ, and well, Justice wasn't there. So then he's telling them that they're at the bottom, and dun dun dun, he's gonna hold it out and give them another chance. So you know how they doing Ready to Love. They like to keep you on your toes. Looney definitely was happy because she's feeling LJ and Justice. So 2 of her connections would have left, or one of them would have left. Possible connections could have left at the time. So she's kind of like, whew, they both of her connections are still here. So Tommy says he's going to give them to the end of the week to turn it around. So they're safe for now. So Samson asked Shaeese off to the side. He was like, "Are you surprised?" And she's like, "Nope." so so the bottom 3 go and meet with Tommy, and Tommy is telling the guys why they are at the bottom. Tommy tells LJ, "You're at the bottom because the women are not experiencing a lot of depth with you. They just see him as the lovable island guy." So LJ acknowledges that, and he said he's going to try to do better and make sure he, gives the ladies some depth. He goes to Justice. Justice, he tells Justice that the ladies, he goes on dates, he's not, pursuing the ladies or anything. Of course, everybody knows how Justice is. And of course, he says to Tommy, this is my process. I have to do it my way. And, and he doesn't like that the ladies, after the date, the ladies probably go back and talk to each other about it. I'm like, what they got to do with you, Justice? What does that have to do with you? Because if they do go back and talk, it's the process. Like, why are you here? You know what it is. And who are you connecting with? Justice annoys me. Very much so annoys me. He's not triggering for me, but he's annoying, and he's arrogant and pompous. It's ridiculous. So he goes on to tell Zoe that again the ladies don't feel like they don't really know him. And Zoe said, he acknowledged he has put some walls up, and so he's going to try to do better and take his walls down. I mean, Zoe is gonna take all of his walls down. Just you wait. Um, let's see. So, Tommy just tells Zoe just to and open himself up enough so they can get to know him. So we flip to a scene where Khadian, Shaeese, LJ, Zoe, Shrenika, Justice, and Jamila go karting. So I love go-karting. So I'm like, this is actually a fun event where you can, like get to know each other and then, do a lot of little competitive stuff, little light stuff. And, you should be able to on a date, on this type of date, to just really, find what where you are compatible. So as they're racing, Zoe is showing his competitive side, and he hits Trinika in the back, or I mean, because he's pumped. He's clearly very competitive. I don't know. It's not bumper cars, Zoe. So why the heck would you hit Trinika? Is the reason for go-karting and racing is to get in front. So were you hitting her so you can get in front of her? Like, come on now. It's a little bit too much. Like, dial it back a little bit. So he hits Trinika. Trinika ends up hurting her wrist and says, it was hurting for like 3 to 4 minutes. Everyone knows that she wears a wrist thing because I think she broke her wrist right before the process started. So yeah, like you just don't care. So it's a little bit too much. Like, bruh, dial it back. So LJ also sees this and he says, Zoe needs to kind of limit his competitiveness. So after they finish, I guess Zoe feels like he won and he has to broadcast it and let everyone know that he won. Like, it's not that serious. You're not getting money. You're not getting a gold medal, Zoe. It's just light fun. Just have light fun. When Tommy told you to open up, he's not telling you to, just bust the door wide open and become super aggressive. Like, dude, it's not that serious. So so Shaeese whispers to Khadian after that, after they finish and they're talking, and she whispers and says barbecue. Coincidentally, that's the name of the episode, is Barbeque Time. So that's where it comes from. Shaeese is telling Khadian to, whispering to the side like barbecue. So in my mind, Shaeese is saying like, let's get him. For some reason, she don't like Zoe. And he probably didn't make any, help to, cause any by being super competitive, loud, and just boisterous and just not fun to be around. It's like it's a way you can be competitive and still have fun. And he was kind of like sucking the fun out of the room. It was just like, okay, yeah, it was just read the room, Zoe. Read the room. So Khadian calls Justice and says she and Trinika want to have a conversation with Justice in a private meeting room. So I'm thinking, as they're going to do a private meeting room, I remember Justice said in one of the men's lounge that he didn't like Khadian because she poked the bear. And so I'm just like, okay, so maybe I was like, okay, well, maybe Khadian is wondering, like, where the issues are with them too. So immediately Khadian was like, you didn't call me back, bruh. What's going on? Justice was defensive coming to the meeting anyway. But I guess because he knew it was with Khadian, he was already on the defense. So she was like, you didn't call me back. He said, I called you first. I mean, tit for tat. Come on. So he was like, I called you first. She was like, well, you called me first, yes, and I called you back 2 days later, and I never heard back from you since. Then he gives her some shade, talking about, oh, I probably didn't save your number because of the first interaction. So they go through the first interaction. So Khadian, who should be Khadian, girl, if you're watching this, you should be a lawyer. I know you're a beauty entrepreneur, but I need you to take that LSAT and become a lawyer, because you come with the receipts and you don't back down. So yeah, she definitely grilled him. Not really grilled him, but she showed him receipts. And it seemed to me, Katie, and we know her delivery is very direct. She plays no games. So Justice, I feel like, is intimidated by that because Justice wants to always have the upper hand, and I don't think he can get the upper hand with Khadian. So Khadian pulls out her phone. He said, "Come on, bring it out, bring it out." And then I'm like, oh, these dudes on here, like I cannot. It's like, like I'm not used to men really dialing into their femininity and being like catty like a woman would be. I'm not used to that. So that right there is an automatic turn off. So he was like, bring it out, bring it out. So once they bring it out, she's like, this is when I told you, first, DM'd you and I asked if it was okay, if you are okay, you can call me, call me back or whatever. And I think she said it was like at 12 something, maybe 12:30 at night. Now Justice is an event planner. I think he works late. So I'm like, what's the big deal? So if you did not want to talk to her, Justice, at 12 something in the morning, why did you call her, bruh? Like why? Why did you call her? So he calls her back and says, I usually don't talk or call people at 12:30 at night in the morning, or 12:30 is late. So why didn't you just maybe text her back like, it's a little late, let me let's link up in the morning, or let's link up whenever. But you decided to call and become combative, and you know how Khadian is not going to really back down. So I guess she may have inquired about maybe his connections or the process. I'm not really sure because it was chopped up a little bit, so it didn't go into detail about it. He said, she said something about him and Devin being out. So he was just like, he kind of like, and Jamila was in the mix, and Justice really like shut it down. He was like, I don't want to hear it. Like she was just like, well, this is, trying to give her her reasoning as to why. And he just kind of shut that down. I didn't want to, I don't want to hear it. So Trinika's sitting off to the side and she's like listening to back and forth. It's just at this point, I with Khadian, I could tell she was becoming annoyed, but Khadian is not going to back down. So Trinika tries to say, maybe the women don't understand your language, but I understand your language. So clearly she likes Justice. Now for what, I don't know Trinika. Trinika just is the bubbly type. She seems like, I won't call her, if Chrissy Snow from Three's Company. She's not totally like that, but she's very like free and bubbly. And so I feel she's more accommodated of Justice than she actually should be, because I don't see why she's as accommodating to Justice as he is. And she's talking about she understands his language and speaks his language. Girl, Justice don't say nothing. He throws out these little buzzwords of energy and cosmic and all this stuff. He's not saying anything, Trinika. He's not saying anything. Anything of substance, Justice is not saying. So whatever language you're speaking, you should not be able to understand that, sis. Don't understand that type of language, because whatever, he's not saying anything. He's just speaking, throwing out a whole bunch of terms. And I don't even think he even knows what the heck he's talking about. I read energy, so I know he's not talking about it. He's not saying anything, Trinika. So maybe y'all having some deep conversations off to the side that we haven't seen, been have the privilege of seeing on camera. But what I've seen thus far from Justice, he's not saying anything. He's saying a bunch of nothing. So whatever language you're understanding from him, you should not speak, idiot. So he feels assured by Trinika, and like, thank you, she's appeasing him and making him feel comfortable. But Khadian on the other side, he's just not feeling. So as she tries, as Khadian still tries to get to an understanding with Justice. Have I been saying so? Hopefully not, but you know who I'm talking about. So after Khadian, tries to get to understanding, Justice tries to shut it down, say, let's just have a hug. And she's like, no, I still have some things to say. The hug is to shut down and just shut you up so we can move forward. And Khadian, is not that type of woman who is going to just be shut down and just, let bygones be bygones. She still is trying to give her point across and to let him know how she's feeling. And he keeps trying to shut her down with a hug. And she's like, no, I don't want a hug. I want, and he was like, well, you ain't at peace. And she was like, he's being so argumentative. He's, trying to punch holes and stuff. And you really can't box Justice. You can't box with Khadian as far as the going back and forth. Now, Khadian has not been my favorite girl in the past, but I liked her stance, and I liked that she was trying to get an understanding. He just couldn't take it. He couldn't take it. He seems like he doesn't like a woman to question him, or maybe it's just not a woman who has an opinion or who's able to articulate herself and to not be fall and swoon over Justice, and feel like he is a ladies' man. He is some type of God. Oh, he's a king. Forgot, he's a king. So I guess if you don't fall to his knees and feel like, and worship him as if he's some type of king or whatever, then he don't want anything to do with you. And Khadian is not going to be that girl. He's not. It definitely not with Justice. She's not. She sees through Justice's bull, and I'm glad she does. So, side note, a few videos back, I said that I felt like Justice looks like Lionel Richie, or could be Lionel Richie Jr. Y'all know Justice don't know who his dad is, so it could be possible. Just playing, but I wanted to show y'all why I said that. Like, I got a picture I want y'all to see. Wait. Let's see. Does he not look like Lionel Richie? Y'all, please comment down below if you see what I'm saying. He looks like Lionel Richie. It's uncanny. It's uncanny. Yes, Lionel Richie and Justice. I get it, man. So yeah, that was just a little fun that I'm having, but he does look like Lionel Richie in all seriousness. Okay, so they don't hug it out, and so while they are, trying to hash things out and while they're talking, meanwhile, Zoe and Shaeese is getting loud and arguing with each other. So we go to the pool table where Zoe and Shaeese, are talking. So Zoe, he already heard Shaeese say barbecue. So as he's going to the pool, to shoot pool with Shaeese, he's already in defense mode. He's already in defense mode with Shaeese, and we all know that. And I guess you can't really blame him. Like, if you hear something like that, you automatically going to shut down, and you're not going to put forth your best effort with this person. So he's coming in on the defensive. They're talking about shooting pool and all that kind of stuff, and he's they're just making some light conversation. So Shaeese says something to the fact like, "You're very competitive. How do you feel like that you're at the bottom?" Like, sis, first of all, you was at the bottom a few weeks ago, so don't act like you ain't never been at the bottom. So she was like, "So how do you feel about that? And what are you gonna do about it?" And he's, again, he's on the defense, and I'm not making an excuse for Zoe. Two things could be true at the same time. So he's on the defense, and she was like, "What's going on between you and me?" And Zoe, which I was also confused, Zoe was like, "I didn't feel like it was anything going on between us." She was like, "I would have thought I would have heard from you more after the white party." And so I feel like the white party wasn't even that long ago. So maybe it could be editing, because it seemed like it was a day later or so. She's saying she thought she would have heard a little bit more from him after the white party. He was like, "Well, I didn't think we connected like that, so I wouldn't have called you after the white party like that." He said, "I'm not seeing, he wasn't really seeing a connection." That's what I was interpreting. He, if if I don't think you feeling me, why am I gonna call you? And she was like, well, she thought that he would, reach out, and she does have some other strong connections. So I don't know if Zoe made it seem like he was liking her. I really don't know. But she was like, I do have some. He was like, what he in essence is telling Shaeese, well, you go ahead and, pursue those other connections. Like you can tell his temperature is rising with Shaeese because she is low key stoking those fires. She's stoking those fires. And I don't know if Shaeese is doing this on purpose, but with her saying barbecue him, and she's really stoking his fire. She's gaslighting him like a mug. She is gaslighting him. So you can tell his temperature is starting to rise as he's shooting pool, and Shaeese is not backing down. So he was like, she was just basically hammering into him like, if you're gonna have a connection, you should be, doing that. He was like, I didn't think we had a connection. And they're going back and forth about this whole connection thing. So they start getting to the point where they're arguing and hitting below the belt. And he was like, he said, basically Zoe says, it's fake. The connection that you're trying to say that we had or I'm not pursuing, you're being fake. So she was like, you calling me fake. So at this point, Zoe is up here. He's annoyed. He's being gaslit because Shaeese, no one said that y'all even had a connection. So why are you acting like he's not pursuing you when there was no connection in the beginning? If that makes sense, y'all. Like no one, like only people we knew that Shaeese was having a connection with was Devin, who's gone, and Samson. Where did Zoe get in the picture? I don't know. Now she did question Zoe at the white party about his past relationship, and she, talked about how she, it made her feel uneasy because she values honesty. I'm with you when you write, Shaeese, but this particular situation, it seems like you were baiting him. You didn't have a connection. You were aggravating him and annoying him, gaslighting him, and you in Justice words, you poked the bear. You poked the bear, and it got exactly the reaction that I feel like she was looking for. He blew up on her, and he calling her fake, and he's yelling. Now this is when you're wrong, though. When you recognize someone is gaslighting you or really pushing your buttons, as a man, walk away. Just see that, okay, this is not going where I want it to go. I don't, have a connection with you. Please, by all means, pursue your connections, and I'll pursue mine. And that's another thing. Shaeese was like, well, who are you connecting with? He was like, this is a conversation about you and I, not about connections, my other connections. It has nothing to do with this conversation. So that, I don't know if she was trying to find out who he's connecting with. I don't know what she was attempting to do. Zoe doesn't appear to really have any connections anyway, but she was just definitely pushing his buttons. And but Zoe should have taken the mature route and just, exited the situation. Because anytime you're arguing, a man who, like Zoe, is arguing with a woman, and it's never gonna look good for you. And you're on national TV. So you gotta think. That's what I try to tell my son, is to really think things through. Stop being so emotional. So Shaeese, at this point, Zoe is hollering at Shaeese. He has the pool stick in his hand. I don't feel like he's going to hit Shaeese with the pool stick, but they're hollering back and forth and arguing, and tempers are flaring between both of them. And so Shaeese ends up walking off, calling him fake and all that. She ain't fake and he's fake and all that stuff. A whole bunch of back and forth. So this is when Khadian comes in, and she's like, she's asking Shaeese, are you okay? This is when the waterworks come. So Shaeese is putting on her Karen mask, and she's now crying. and acting as if Zoe just attacked her for no reason. Shaeese, we all know what your plan was and what you were doing. Now, did Zoe need to walk away? Absolutely, and he did not. And I don't think you. I think you got exactly what you were trying. You got a rise out of him, and you got exactly what you were wanting from him. So LJ comes over. Khadian is telling you know LJ to stay with Shaeese while she goes check on Zoe. Zoe at this point he's up here and he don't really want to talk to nobody because I'm pretty sure in his mind like I done flipped out on national TV on this girl and he's really and he's big mad. He's big mad at this point as he should be. So a bunch of back and forth. So LJ comes in and Katie tells LJ to talk to him, man to man, have a conversation. She goes back to check on Shaeese. Shaeese is still crying and saying being at this point she is being the victim out of the whole situation, and he's screaming at me with the pool stick in his hand and all that kind of stuff. I don't think Zoe was not going to hit her. So at the end of the day, Zoe leaves. He leaves the premises. He's gone. Now, I'm assuming Jamila is gone because I didn't see her anymore. Justice and Trinika, I'm assuming, have left at this point because I don't see any of them anymore. So it's just LJ is kind of seeming like he's siding with Shaeese. And maybe he's siding with Shaeese because he's at the bottom, but also he doesn't have all the information that went down. So now Shaeese is saying, she's using her phrases that you can make someone look bad. I don't feel safe now. She doesn't feel safe with Zoe. So Zoe he shouldn't feel safe with Shaeese. I feel both ways. Maybe y'all shouldn't feel safe with each other and y'all shouldn't interact anymore. So scene goes to Shakira talking to Tommy. Shakira is talking to Tommy about how she doesn't feel safe because what she has divulged in the ladies' lounge has now reached other cast members and behind her back and both in her face, and they have told her stories for her. So immediately she is upset, and Tommy is listening to her and telling her whatever goes on in the ladies' lounge should stay in the ladies' lounge. So he's agreeing with her at this point. So she tells Tommy what happened, like it happened in her face and both behind her back, and she talks about the situation with Mike, I think Jamila and Khadian. And she says Khadian said that she says, I want to make sure I says exactly what she says. She recounts what happens. It seems different than what was shown. That's what I put in my notes. She is saying that Khadian told her she should stay because of her situation. They would like to hear what she has to say because all that she has been through. If you flash back, Khadian did not say anything. She says that I get why Shakira, this is what's on camera. She's saying that last episode, Khadian said she sees why Shakira is having a reaction because of her situation. Now Shakira is telling Tommy that she says that she's getting Khadian is getting Shakira to stay and wants to hear her input because of all that she's been through. So, and that's not two different stories. So Shakira breaks down and Tommy says he's going to address the situation with the ladies. Now, my opinion, Shakira leads with her trauma. Shakira, I don't think that this was a great process for Shakira because I feel like there is still some healing for Shakira to do. She is looking for a savior. She's looking for someone to save her, and maybe she still feels a little unprotected because of the situation, and maybe she's looking for a protector. But she has to get when she's talking to these guys, she's automatically leading with her trauma. So that's why I'm kind of confused, because you're leading with your trauma. So a lot of these guys probably already know, But she did tell Tommy that some of the guys had told her, I guess, that Khadian has also talked about the situation. So she is targeting Khadian. Um, and I don't know. I don't know. I sympathize with Shakira. We don't know the story, so we don't know exactly what it is that she's been through. But I sympathize with her because when you're in a traumatic situation, maybe I want to tell it first, and I don't want you kind of like shaming me about my situation. I didn't see where Katie was actually shaming her, but Katie did say in her one of her confessionals, like, this is not a counseling session. So maybe she's either A, she's tired of Shakira talking about it, or she just does not sympathize with her at all, or B, she doesn't sympathize with her at all. So it could go either way. I don't know where Katie is with that. Um, but Shakira, I feel like she is playing up this traumatic role. I don't want to say the victim role. She's playing up her trauma, and she's doing. I feel like she's doing it for attention. And I hate to say that because I know when you go through something traumatic, it's just, it's like bubbling at the surface, and sometimes you can't help but talk about it. But I'm also with the way she has gone to Tommy about the situation, and I didn't think it was really that deep. She is, because she leads with her trauma a lot on this show, that I don't know. I feel like she is wanting to play the victim, and she's wanting the attention, and she's crying, and all that kind of stuff. So Tommy automatically feels like, I guess, he has to put on his cape for her and defend for her. And maybe Tommy should approach the women to get the information versus accusing them information. Like, let's get all the facts together, and then I can make my assessment, versus I'm taking Shakira's word because she's crying, and and I'm going to put on my cape and protect this child. She does need protecting, but she does need to go to, if she's not in therapy, she definitely needs to go to therapy about her trauma, um, and seeing how she can, become stronger, and in who she is. I like Shakira. I don't like her fashion choices, but I like Shakira. I just really feel like this maybe was too much for her, too much too soon, in my opinion. So comment down below if you agree or disagree. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm being too hard on Shakira? Do you think Khadian is being insensitive towards Shakira's traumas? Let me know. So after that, let's see where we at. Samson goes on a picnic with Mike, Brandy, and Looney. So Samson, they have a picnic. They go to a park. Samson brings frisbees and football. He wants to throw the ball around with Mike, but Mike has other things in mind. Mike and Brandy are in their own world. He's feeding her grapes with prosecco. And he is doing the sexual innuendos. He's, dropping the grapes in her mouth, and she's sticking her tongue out and playing with the grapes with her tongue, doing all the little sexual stuff, and that you do. So definitely you see the sexual chemistry between Brandy and Mike. It's palpable. It's there. But I wonder where the depth is. Do they go deep? Versus, I mean, we got the sexual chemistry. We are attracted to each other. We like each other. We have good conversation. Like, I want to see them go a little deeper. So Brandy and Mike is making Samson and Looney a little uncomfortable. So they go off and play frisbee, throw the frisbee around. And then he takes her, and they have a little bit more, takes the wine and have a little bit of one-on-one conversation with Looney, to see, he talks about her being at the gym. He noticed that she was at the gym, and he says, tells her how he likes to work out. Samson, I don't know. Samson, first of all, he comes across as a little cornball. But I don't know. I feel like Samson is just going along to get along. Like he's telling the girls what he wants to hear. Like, I'm going to show you how, I love the gym too. Because he sees her in the gym, I love the gym too. The gym is like my coffee. I don't drink coffee. And I'm assuming that he thinks that Looney is into the gym. So let me show her how into the gym I am too. So I feel like that's the kind of person he is. I don't like that, that type of interaction with the guy. Like I get it, but to find some commonalities, but it was kind of like he, was really going in on the whole gym thing. And then previous is like when he's talking to Shakira or Sheree. No, Shakira, he's relates to her on her trauma. Sharice, he relates to her on her strengths and whatever she's been through and being a strong woman. So it's just kind of like he just takes, what he feels like your story is, and he kind of shows, how he can relate to your story, versus kind of like showing me, who are you, Samson? I know you've had a mother and y'all picked up cans, like, but who are you outside of that? I feel like he's life coaching everybody, because he is a life coach. I feel like he's life coaching everybody. And we're not getting, because with the life coach, I'm not revealing myself to you. I am helping you. So I feel like that's the kind of bag he's in at this point. He feels like I want to help you versus you get to know me and me get to know you. And we bond on that level. So let's see. So yeah, they end up leaving the whole date, and I really didn't get any know anything more about Samson and Brandy. And what I left with, Brandy and Mike got a lot of sexual chemistry. So LJ goes on a date with Trinika. LJ, you know, is insecure about being at the bottom, and Trinika, with all her legs and hips and body, she's telling him, "You're not at my bottom." And Trinika is very flirty. She's very girly and bubbly. She wiggles. She's engaging. She's touching. She does all of the things. She's doing all of the things to grab the guy's attention. And Trinika tells LJ that she loves that how good he is with his daughter, because she's a daddy's girl. I'm also a daddy's girl. So yeah, that warms my heart when I see a father, a girl dad. Like I love that. I love, love that. So yeah, they are talking about, that whole situation. And he asked if she's okay with anybody who has kids, and she is, because she comes from a blended family. So it's all good between LJ and Trinika. Now, LJ, she says that LJ calls her a lot, and he's very intentional and calling her. Now, last episode, LJ is also calling Looney a lot. Like she's so LJ is now, he talks on the phone a lot with Looney, and he talks on the phone a lot with Trinika. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, so LJ, what do you do? Because if you talking on the phone all this time, like you got, you're talking to two women, a lot. You're checking in a lot. So it's just like, okay, LJ, are you just calling? Who are you truly connecting with? LJ, who are you truly connecting with versus trying to stay on the show and talk to, and stay in these women's ears? So the ladies meet at Tommy's Lounge, and Tommy tells the ladies Shakira is dealing with a personal issue, and then he goes into whatever, the way he grew up, whatever goes in your house stays in your house. So he is talking about that. Khadian, again, like I said earlier, she says, in her confessional, she's saying this is not a counseling session. If you're gonna be in the process, if you're gonna say something, you need to own it. So I wonder if Khadian was in the military or raised by someone in the military. She's very hard. she's very hard. I think she might be West Indian, so maybe that could be it as well, but she's very, very hard. Like she's a no nonsense girl. Looney says that she wants to pull back the layers with Samson, and I agree. Like I'm not really getting too much from Samson outside of his growing up with his mom and his parents separated, and his mom picked up cans, and he saw the strong black woman that his mom was. So that's pretty much where we are with Samson. Brandy, of course, is smitten with Mike, and she enjoyed the picnic. Now, Mike did say at the picnic, I do want to go back to that. He said, he don't know how he feel about having a long distance relationship. She's like, I live here in Miami. What are you talking about? He's like, with her being a flight attendant. Mike, that's not a long distance relationship. She lives in Miami. And she was like, well, I can change that. I can adjust my schedule. I don't have to be gone 3-4 days. She's like, I could just, take shorter trips. So yeah, I don't know why Mike thought that a long distance relationship is if someone is traveling for their job. That's not long distance. And she is still can talk to you. Y'all can FaceTime, y'all can talk. She's not going anywhere. Like, I don't know. That was just weird. So Kayla says she had a great day with Randall. Now, this is when the shade is, subtle shade is being thrown. She had a great day with Randall. They talked about how their families could be intertwined, and they shared a kiss and all that kind of stuff. So when she says that, Jamila is like looking to the side, like, for real? And then Jamila says, my rah-rah. So she's trying to one up Kayla, like, we got nicknames, girl. That's my rah-rah. Her rah-rah, they had a great conversation at the white party and blah, blah, blah. And so she sees where they are getting deeper. And so when she's talking about referencing Randall as my rah-rah, Kayla is over there rolling her eyes. So the competition is on between Kayla and Jamila, and it's not going to get any better until Randall decides to make a decision. So I'm hoping that Randall don't keep stringing these girls along. Make a decision, bruh. Who are you? Who do you like? Who don't you like? Like, say it with your chest. So Khadian says she loves her relationship with Swayze. It's easy. She loves that. Khadian says that she also likes LJ, and they talk a lot. So again, LJ is talking to somebody a whole lot. He's talking to Khadian a lot. He's talking to Looney a lot, and he's talking to Trinika a lot. So LJ is putting in, he's putting in the work via phone. He's talking to everybody on the phone. I don't know what this man does for a job, but clearly it allows him to talk on the phone a lot. Trinika says she's got a little deep. Trinika says LJ went deeper with her and that he's been intentional with her. Jamila says LJ has stepped it up with her, and she gives him the MVP trophy, and they talk a lot on the phone. So LJ is talking a lot on the phone with Jamila, Trinika, Looney, and who else am I missing? Khadian. 4 women. That's a lot, bruh. Them talking on the phone. Who do you like, LJ? Who do you want to pursue? And stop talking to all these people on the phone. All right. So Jamila then says, she flips in and says, Justice is just not ready. Kayla says she can't with Justice, and I'm with you, girl. I can't with Justice either. Looney clears her throat because Justice is one of her connections, and so is LJ. So Looney tries to, throw a wrench in it and says Zoe needs to go. So I'm assuming at this point that, they're saying Zoe needs to go. I think that maybe Shaeese told Looney what happened, or maybe they've talked about, some of the ladies have talked about what happened between Zoe and Shaeese, and they're probably hearing more of Shareese's version. But Khadian, she brings it on out. Like, she's been talking to Zoe, and she let Shaeese know that he heard you say barbecue him, and she was like, I don't care. I don't care what he heard. And then she says, Khadian says Shaeese is playing a victim because woman to woman, you can't instigate a situation and then play the victim. I totally agree with Khadian. You can't, like, you know what you was doing. You instigated it. You got a rise out of him, and then now you want to cower down. And I'm just a damsel in distress, and I'm scared and I don't know what he's going to do to me type situation. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to anyone, you know, where you are purposely trying to get them angry and then you want to cower down. I don't like that. And that's toxic and that's dangerous. Um, so Shaeese is screaming, I'm nobody's victim. And Tommy lets them know that I'm the only one who does the barbecuing. So now the ladies, they are telling the bottom who's going and who's staying. So clearly LJ is staying. Brandy invites Zoe out, and Trinika invites Justice. So Trinika speaks to Justice about his standing with the ladies, and Justice says he feels relaxed with Trinika. Um, he definitely didn't want to see Khadian. She asks she asks what he wants. He wants to figure out his own process within the process. Again, Justice is a broken record. He says the same thing. I want to get my process. What is your process? Just sitting here and just doing nothing? Like, ugh, he's annoying. Um, Trinika says the women don't understand his language, but she understands his language. She tells him that he's going to stick around, and she says the next dinner is on you. He was like, sure, it'll be at my spot for free. Again, Justice is not spending no money on nobody. He's selfish and he's pompous. He's arrogant. He's just not ready to love. He should have been gone too. So meanwhile, Brandy is waiting on Zoe to tell him his fate, which we already know Trinika has told Justice he's staying, so we know Zoe is leaving. Zoe doesn't show up. Clearly, someone tipped Zoe off to let him know that you is going home, bruh. And he probably knew that after the interaction with Shaeese, how he got with Shaeese. He probably knew that stick a fork in me, I'm done. I don't have to hear that I'm not ready for love to know what's about to happen. Either that, he just thought ahead, or someone tipped him off. And we know from last cycle, someone tipped off Laverne that he was about to go home. But at least Laverne showed up. Zoe didn't show up. Zoe was like, I don't want to hear it. So he leaves Brandy there, and Brandy says now she understands that he ain't ready to love just by his reaction, and how he handled the whole Shaeese situation. Brandy, you don't know the whole situation, but so come on, be a man, take your licks like a man, and you just didn't want to be embarrassed, and that's how you reacted to this whole situation. Or maybe he didn't want to be made out to be something he wasn't, and he wasn't going to be put in that situation. I don't know what Zoe mentality was about that. We'll probably either find out from maybe a reunion, maybe the reunion, or maybe Tommy, because that's his frat brother. Maybe, Tommy speaks to him man to man. Who knows? But Zoe, you really didn't have any connections anyway, so it was about time for you to leave. But I hate that you had to leave on the note that you did, that, being gaslit, and then you didn't even show up and just face the music and tell your side. I don't know, but that's the episode. That's my recap. Those are my opinions. Again, interact with me down in the comment section. Let me know your opinions. Do you think it should have been Zoe to leave, or should it have been Justice? What do you think? I think both of them. Honestly, I would have wanted either both of them to leave, but Justice does have connections, and Zoe, I don't see where he had any connection. So of course he was going to be the one to leave. And really, Justice don't have connections. You just got women who are willing to deal with your BS because you ain't connecting with them. They connecting with you. Catch that. So anyways, again, that's my recap. Those are my opinions. comment down below and let me know if we share the same opinions. And if we don't, it's all good. It's all love. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Put smash the notification button so you'll be notified of all of my uploads. Coming would be my Married to Medicine recap. And possibly a House of Dragons. We'll see how the episode goes. I may be, I may feel motivated to come on and share some of my thoughts about that episode. But yeah, subscribe, join my tribe. It's been great. Enjoy your rest of your day. I'm about to take my baby to the zoo, so it's about to be a whole situation. He's excited. So love you all and see you soon. Peace.